Will a bull run in the crypto space be harder now that a black swan has happened? Oh man, I would say short term, yes, it's going to be tougher short term for a bull run. Um, Long term, no. Long term, I mean, it's very, very bullish, very optimistic. So let me kind of break that down. Short term, meaning that the next few months, global recession, time's going to get tough. Not sure whether whether it's going to be a quick bounce back or whether it's going to be prolonged time for all the different countries affected by this black swan event of the coronavirus to bounce back. Now, people are talking about the Bitcoin halving and how that is, because it's basically supply and demand. The Bitcoin inflation rate is going to be cut in half, so that the amounts of Bitcoins being mined will be less. So if there's more demand for Bitcoin and the supply is getting lower and lower, the economics tell us that should be good long term. Short term, it might take a while to really be felt, but long term, I think it's good for the crypto space. Now, I mean, going to your question in terms of the bull run, I mean, with inflation and a recession, the inflation, yes. If you told me, hey, it's just inflation, hyperinflation across different countries around the world, dollars is getting more and more devalued, the purchasing power for the dollar is getting less and less, that bodes well for Bitcoin and crypto, and that should really tell us that it's going to be a bull run. The issue, though, is the recession, the global recession, because in times like this, people are getting out of risky assets. Nobody wants to speculate on something that's going up 40, something that goes up or down 40% in one day when they're about to lose their home, when they can't pay their mortgage, they can't pay their rent, when 20% of the population is possibly unemployed, which is what analysts are predicting. That is possible if the government doesn't intervene and bail the people out here in America. So the recession is really the main concern. But I don't think the bull market is going to happen. I talked about this earlier in the show. Until we have inflation and until we have political risk, right? So currency risk and political risk are really the two things to watch out for. Currency risk is going to happen with inflation and printing more money through quantitative easing. The political risk, though, I think you have to really have governments around the world start. I mean, even here in the US, people, I mean, all the conspiracy theorists have been talking about martial law. I mean, not to really agree with them per se, but if governments say, you know what, we're out of money, let's take money from our people, from the banks, whatever, right? All those Illuminati people saying that the Fed and the Bilderbergs or whatever are going to take money from people. I mean, let's say once in a blue moon, maybe they're partially right or they're right, right? But I mean, because Bitcoin did really well in Cyprus during the last recession, when Cyprus went to people's bank accounts and took their money, saying that we have to be altruistic and bail out the country. So imagine if the U.S. increased taxes, or right, if they levied taxes to 50%, or if they said, you know what, we're gonna tax the entire country automatically by going to everybody's bank account and getting 20% of whatever money you have. If something like that happens in the US or in other countries, in Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, I mean, crypto bull market. But obviously, it would depend on how big the country is. If it's America, oh yeah, definitely a bull market. I would say if it's a developed country with a large economy, and if lots of countries start doing things like that, that's the political risk. I think that would definitely, I mean, people would flee that local currency to crypto and Bitcoin. So I think, in my opinion, those two things have to happen. I don't think we're going to have a long-term bull market or bull run with only one. I think the two have to happen. I mean, and now that I'm kind of thinking about what I'm saying, I mean, I'm not trying to sound crazy, but it's almost like for those two things to happen, all those conspiracy theorists and those crazy people have to be right. I mean, all those tinfoil people wearing those tinfoil hats saying the government is going to confiscate your money. All right. I mean, the inflation thing, I think we all kind of agree with. But the political risk is more of government confiscating people's money or automatically taxing them. I think it's kind of like it's a 1-2 punch. Because inflation, yes, it will be positive for crypto and Bitcoin. But I think it's that second punch that really takes it to the moon. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm all in on crypto, but in times like this, you have to hedge against everything. That's why I'm exploring other options as well. Precious metals, gold, silver. I mean, I haven't bought anything yet, but I'm doing my research because now is a good time to diversify.